So let's start our guided meditation. Find a comfortable posture and see how your body is positioned. Any disturbing obstacles, you put them aside. The goal as we end this meditation retreat today can be to take home from these meditations arousing joy and tranquility, and through going to the 7 factors of awakening or dwelling in the seven factors of awakening. Begin with awareness of where your hands' positions are, shoulders, your neck and the spine, any stress inside your brain, tranquility on your face, the sitting posture, and putting up with any pain that may arise until the end of meditation, seeing that pain as an object of meditation. Inhale and exhale fully. Spreading awareness through inhaling and exhaling across the body, finding a perfect balance. Inhale and exhale, allowing you to enter into a peaceful state of mind. use breath as a tool to energize the process. Anchor yourself in breath and explore components of joy and tranquility, and use insight when you have equanimity present. Some pains are preventable by adjusting a little bit of the posture, and catch up with your practice and meditation afterwards. Keep your neck and spine on a straight line, not too hard, not too loose, enough to maintain this posture. Move away from any of the five hindrances: sensual desire, restlessness, hatred, doubt, or sloth and torpor, and enter into the qualities, components of joy that may be present within the first jhana. Enjoying the freedom of seclusion from sensual entrances. allows energy to continue more, maybe with deep inhaling and holding a moment. If anything that is disturbing present in you that may be a hindrance, steer away as far as possible from it, not stepping on that snake. being unrecognizable perceptions. Let them be. If there is a message, it will be delivered. Notice the mind that is ready to go to higher states, or notice the mind that is not ready to go to higher states. Notice the presence of the hindrance, notice the disappearance of it. Notice the future non-disappearance of it. Future non-existence of it. Notice what is present in you and how to overcome it. Breathe in and breathe out. Reposition yourself. You are exhausted from learning, you are exhausted from sittings and change of environment. Begin deep inhalings if that helps you. If the mind has a wide scope, notice that. If a slight change has to be done, please do so in your posture. Come back to your breathing. If you are trying too hard, notice that. What is actually present? Equanimity, or after disappearance of joy, or just being? Many vitakkas, many vicharas, thoughts, and examining them. Responses. In your breathing, make it a one unit and see the process. United, they lead you toward more peace and tranquility. You stay put up with this for 5 to 8 minutes more before we conclude this sitting practice. Quietly observing. Developing insights as you experience the world arising nature and the cessation nature in the next few minutes. Arising phenomena, cessation phenomena. Begin changing your posture if it is necessary for relief, if you may. Sabba papassa akaranam kusalassa upasampada sacitta pariyodapanam etam buddhana sasanam. Abstaining from all evil states, accumulating what is wholesome, taming one's mind and restrainment. This is the admonition of all Buddhas. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so we are coming to an end now. I didn't see any questions in the question box. Did anybody put a question there? So like all the questions were answered in the discussion. What questions do you have? How was the meditation, by the way? Was it good? Not so good? It was okay. What do you mean by that?
I mean, it's a comparison. Morning was better for me. I was more aware of myself.
It's the end of the day, and you are also going home.
I was sad.
Sadness. So you want to stay in this place and continue? You can. So continuing practice is hard, but I hear some people have early morning meditations as they wake up, so that's good when you have a full-time schedule. Shamlinon, how was your practice? Good as the morning one?
Morning was
Whose meditation was better than the morning this afternoon? Yours? Oh, share more about it.
Afternoon is better, right? I said afternoon is better than.
Like this one? Yours as well? What worked for you?
For me,
Yeah?
I had some more information, more only when I start the evening one than the morning.
Same for you?
learning to ignore the discomfort.
Learning to ignore that there is comfort?
The discomfort. Because staying in the same position was quite uncomfortable.
I ignore the discomfort.
So I learned to ignore it and move on.
Yeah, you did 45 minutes, more or less. Right, so that's good. I had some pain in my left foot because the misalignment here, so wasn't prepared. I would have better practice if I had a way to adjust it, but I didn't want to. At some point I did, and then it helped me. So I had good start and then good ending, but in between there were times when I needed to refocus. Not that I was distracted, but the pain was excruciating, so I had to. I was not that smart like you were. So, Jera?
I think the afternoon's probably better for me.
Really? Oh.
It's a lot more, it's a lot more calm. Mine was a lot calmer than this morning.
Good. So, yeah, that's very nice. You? Really? I'm surprised many people have had good experience after all that you went through. What about Priyanka? No? Same like morning. Okay. Anybody here? How was your practice?
Still okay. Same as morning.
Same as morning. You as well?
Yeah, about the same.
Mm.
Good, both good.
Both good. Okay. You?
Mine, meditation was both the same, but in the afternoon, I usually have some problem in mind for something, always have a big problem. In the morning it wasn't not that bad, but this afternoon it was bothering me quite a bit. But I usually meditate on that too.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not me, my pain is not mine, and things like
Mhm.
that. And pay a bit of anicca dukkha anatta on that. So usually I can deal with it.
Good. So would that help if you were sitting in a chair?
Maybe, but I would like this sitting. Yeah.
Mm.
I usually get that, but I usually meditate on that and I manage.
How about the person sitting in the pews?
Morning was better. I think afternoon I was a little distracted at the beginning, thinking what I have to do after 4 o'clock. But then I got back to it.
Mm-hmm. You?
Of course, the afternoon is better because I was not eating.
How was your practice?
I think it was really like one of the better meditations because I had more objects to
Deal with. Ah.
meditate about.
What did you do?
Now, just revising mindfulness,
Mm-hmm.
the factors of awakening and kind of trying to explore myself.
Sometimes we can sit firm and stable for a long time, nothing happens, but the painful meditation in that way is very good, so you have tools to observe, unlike that perfect sitting. So, insight works in that painful experience in a slightly different way than that firm sitting where nothing much is happening. So, I think there is no bad meditation. That's the take on that. So, any questions? Or do you want to meditate more? We got about 30 minutes more.
I was thinking of what you said about this sutra, like we should understand it. If you're not understanding it, it's just a keep telling kind of thing. I realize that you have been brainwashed to say that nirvana, so-called, is hard to get. So when something like this is presented, it's not hard. But I don't think, I really think, this can't be that. This must be something wrong with me, not understanding. That's why I say like that.
It's a good point. And autonomy is important. Individually, you have a responsibility to not be brainwashed. If you get brainwashed again, you have a problem. Well, with YouTube era, with all this respect you have towards monks, you listen to any of them. I'm not sure you don't, I think maybe you don't. But you go to this retreat and that retreat, and then sometimes it gives you the feeling that it's far away. And now in your case, you are retired, but some people are waiting for retirement to dedicate more time for... You are retired, right? Are you?
Yes.
Yeah. More time for practice. But when you are retired, what have you accomplished? So that way take full responsibility. That I think I remember you talking now. I think when did you retire? Last year? Right. Around that time you were telling, now I can dedicate full time for Dhamma. And I'm not throwing stones at you. And then so there has to have some use of that extra time you got. In that, I think that Nibbana is far away, it's not a possibility. If anybody has told anyone that way, or if it is informed to your mind through your experiences, this is the high time to give it up. Yeah. So we can't blame on anything or anyone. Right? It's a waste of time to do that.
But it's so easy. It's so easy.
To blame. Right. Yeah. Well, I think one thing that you are seeing here is you are not studying from Pali, you are studying from English here. And English is a language that is always being used here in your environment. So it makes more sense to you. If you studied it in Pali, not knowing Pali, then there's a problem. Because it's like German to you, you don't understand it unless you do understand any German. And so my experience in Pali is different from your experience in Pali, so I think that affects your understanding. So even the Sinhala translations, they have mistakes. So.
But I like and prefer you always put Pali words with English words because it makes us easy to
grasp. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Pali is helpful to me very much. I look at the Pali.
Actually, the Pali word gives me more sense, like broad understanding than sometimes the
English. Oh, that's another discussion on what works and what doesn't. But what I'm saying here is English brings it closer to you, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Meaning will be lucid, right? Previously Victor was asking about the difference between third stage and the fourth stage of establishing mindfulness. So, because you see the same set of words and hard to, but when you look at the Pali, it's a different set of words with a whole different context. So, it's helpful to know Pali.
Referring to that, as repeating, like sometimes examining the, or otherwise it says, if I go to one quote, yeah, observation of the mind in the mind, or otherwise observation of the body in the body. So it's repeating like that.
Chitte chittanupasse viharati. Chitte, in the mind. Chittanupasse viharati, observing the mind. Observing the mind in the mind. So because of the Pali style, they have to translate it that way. If they abandon the Pali style, they would say stay observing the mind. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
But they respect the Pali tradition. So chitte is, there is a case here, locative case. Like Dhammi is in Dhamma, chitte is in chitta, in mind. So they have to use that in their translation. Right. Kayanupassi viharati. Kayanupassi viharati, stay observing the body.
In the body.
Kaya, in body.
In the body. Okay. Now I got it.
Yeah. So it's a weird format, but that's how it came.
Does it mean that you observe body as it is, the body, not something it's like it's mind or someone else? It's like it's an object.
At that time, the base is the body.
Yeah. So you observe it as the body, not.
But other times also you go to the body base, but you focus more on feelings part, or you focus more on the mind. You focus more on mind objects. But the body is the base for any of these. But with emphasis on feelings, with emphasis on mind objects, with emphasis on 5 aggregates, which is a mind object. So you do, these are all connected. None is isolating, because observation of feelings lead to observation of something, and then you may come back to some observation in the body. But like in the 2 days of practice here, you can tell lust and hate, less chance for those things to arise in you. So highly unlikely you will be working on lustful mind, because you have gone beyond such conditioning, little bit beyond. You can easily fall back to it. And imagine doing this for a couple of days and it doesn't even occur to you. So do you have to arouse lust to work on it? No, you don't have to. You see the process of it arising and you see the cessation. And more insight needs to be developed. When you are in a jhana state, you are free from those, and let the jhana guide you. And always remember, you may fall back to the previous jhana. If you are in the 4th one, you may fall back to the 3rd one. So there is that danger that you are having. So the game is to go forward, not to fall backward. So then never say, oh, I don't know where I am in meditation. You are close to falling back to something, and observe what you will fall back to. Maybe you are falling back to 5 hindrances. Never say that you are lost or anything. There is a danger somewhere. Catch that and not fall into it. And stay there patiently until the next something comes. And jhanas are extremely mindful states. You don't get lost in those. Yeah.
Would one get back and forth from jhana?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a controlled state. The Buddha, even in his passing away, he went from 1st to the 9th and then 9th back. or eighth actually, not ninth is the arahantship. First to the eighth and then eighth backward.
Is it known that lay people can get into those jhanas and come back and forth?
Is it not known that lay people cannot get into jhana? What did we study today? That they can, right? You notice places where you might experience jhanas, such as mind wide open. What is it like? A state of experiencing infinite space, exalted state. Interpret it in Dhamma language, then you are experiencing something bigger. It's not a lay person, it's just a mind experiencing that. Whether it's lay or monk, doesn't matter. But books say, and different monks would say, oh, jhanas are not possible. That's why you are asking that question. Or you get the impression that they are very deeper states. But how deep you want to go, you decide. How subtle you want to experience it, you decide. So jhanas come and go, but you don't get excited about them. You know these features within jhanas. So, no more retreats for GLBV. I think you got it all together. You are not ready to accept that.
No, why not?
Yeah, so I'm glad. Oh, why no more retreats? This taught everything to you.
But when we're practicing, we come into the problems, understanding.
No, the answers are there in the manual.
Answers.
See, none of you are ready to accept that reality.
But history says that some people took so many time. So
That's
many
because
meditation sessions.
because they are not serious about it. They are not, they are not.
It is not that. It is because it's difficult.
Well-
This is not like intellectually, but putting it into practice.
Well, it's up to you.
Observing it within
It's up to.
yourself is something.
But then I don't have to be present. You practice. It has nothing to do with me. It's your individual responsibility to practice.
That is true, but we need refreshments.
Then go to the sutra. Your attachment to monks is useless. Not helping you. Allow me to speak the truth here.
So what you're saying is we should practice at home or wherever we are.
And build on your own experience.
And what?
Build on your own experience. Learn your experience, learn from the experience and make it your teacher. And remove this unfulfilling desire that we haven't learned it enough.
No, I don't think like that. I think I have learned enough, actually. I just
So?
haven't been practicing. Yes.
So,
I always said, this can't be that difficult. I always said that. Because Lord Buddha was too smart to tell something
So,
that difficult for us.
what does it have anything to do with me and doing
Well,
another
it's
retreat?
nothing. I don't-
Okay, thank you.
Because I don't get to sit I don't sit for a day. I come to these things so that I get to sit. I have to sit, kind of.
See,
That's all it is.
you got a problem.
It's not really a problem. I agree with Ray. I think when there's an organized event, you find time. You make it happen. At home, you don't sit like this.
That's what you told yesterday, right? At least do it for 10 days.
Yeah, do it. Well, we are not doing that. But if you know how tired I am, this is not an event, that makes me rich. All the donation go to the temple. It's exhausting. You need to see that part.
Yes, we do. I do. I
Yeah.
personally do. I really do.
So, when you see that, you need to be serious on it too. And that makes me happy that you have taken it and you are confident in what you are learning. And so it gives me freedom. Now I can be free and I don't have to repeat this. When this thing goes through my mind again and again, even the Buddha said, in the case of some examples, they didn't tire me so much, they learned it without asking too much. So there are students like that. But I'm addressing not this group, but in general, everywhere I go, people are not, no matter how much teachings we give them, they are not convinced that they have taken enough of it. They always tend to think, oh, there is more somewhere else. When in fact, we have given everything and they have all the tools and they forget. And they have the habit of, oh, when is the next retreat? When is the next Dhamma talk? When is the next monk coming? And that needs to stop. That didn't happen in the Buddha's days. Well, you will say it was the Buddha's days, not nowadays. But in the Buddha's days, they get the teachings, they go and sit and they experience it. So,
But Buddha was able to see when they are struggling and he'll go and say something.
and I can see that. So don't come to me.
But we use it as a time for, as you said, dedicated time for practice. So,
Retreat time?
Retreat and the weekdays or weekends, whatever. So
Yeah,
we know
so
that
don't
we
come
are-
Monday, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm coming.
See?
No.
Huh?
Don't come tomorrow.
Yeah, don't come tomorrow then.
No, I am coming if it is here.
Well, now I have to think of what to teach tomorrow. Look, it's just basically more or less the same group.
Maybe he can teach you tomorrow, then you'll know.
Right. Who can? No, I'm not seeking for teachings anywhere. I don't go to any monks. I have been with many monks enough to learn that it's not in them, it's in me. And I stopped about 5 years ago. And you know that. I have been close to so many monks that are popular teaching and been very close. And I tell that openly that I've learned myself, it's in me, it's my responsibility, it's not anywhere in a temple or in any monk. And don't feel offended for me saying that. And it's true.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
It's individual responsibility.
It is.
Make a-
Until you take your own responsibility and until you are confident, until you accept it, you will always be looking and unsatisfied or unfulfilled. I don't know what word you will use.
But on the other hand, it says that you need to have kalyana mitra to always be
It's 100% true.
Yeah.
I was also
So-
going to say the practicing on your own only lacks the energy of the group,
Mm-hmm.
which is positive energy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we get inspiration from your teaching, even though you may think we're not getting it.
I think I am running into a problem here because it's not only in this place I teach this way, everywhere I go I teach this, and I'm like, I have done this many times. When will I stop? It's nothing to do with me. It's just that I see people always like dipping the tea bag in, and then, and it's just like that tea is not good enough for them. And it's never done. I'm cutting off bad habits of people here. Stop looking it in monks. Stop looking for it in books. Look within. And then ask questions based on your experience. Then I will be ready. I'll be ready for that. Not to repeat the same thing, but to take you from that stage to the next one. That helps me, and you become a Kalyana Mitra for me there.
So if you have questions, we'll come to you.
Of course, you have, and you will.
Experience. Let me have experiences.
Right, and take me to the next level with your experience. If not, you are not being Kalyana Mittras to me. You are pulling me down.
I need to try to speak a little bit about the regression.
What regression? Past life or future regression?
Past.
I have only done it a couple of times and it has only helped me so much. People do it as a business, past life regression as a business. They ask you to, focus on breathing, and then they ask you to remember something that happened 10 years ago, and then something that happened 30 years ago, and the earliest time you remember as a child, and then to the moment when you were born. It's just a stage you may not feel anything, but you imagine, and then further down when you stayed in the mother's womb, and then you are thrown into the unknown, asking you to figure out whether you remember anything from that, and they are giving you clues to go, and then they also take you, okay, what do you remember vividly? Do you remember dying, and what did you die from? So, and then something comes to your mind and you start to believe in that. Maybe it is true, maybe it's not. And then what was your name like in the past? What was your career at that time? Where did you live? So you may get answers when it is guided that way. So it doesn't work for everybody. And then they bring you back. For me, when I did that, honestly based on a YouTube video, it asks you to wake up. Right then I fell asleep. So it has a calming effect on you. This is like hypnosis. So if you have a fear now, they take you to a time in your life when you didn't have that fear and ask you to embrace that time and welcome that person to your present life. So you are no more the same person. Change of perspective. Value your previous being as a person who was before that conditions haunted you. So that's what I remember. Future regression, I think it's an interesting subject. I have never done that. Any questions? What made you think that though?
I've been reading few books about past lives,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking it has something to do with everything that you do.
Yeah, you can only go from episode to episode because, if you remember every detail of life, it's problematic. So there's a lot that goes through. Anyway, yeah,
Is that a different phenomena than what you experience in
past life.
the past life thing that you describe now? Is a different phenomena than when you is it the jhanas or when you go to certain.
That's actually the connection I was trying to make.
Yeah, so I was wondering,
Enlightenment.
which is, I don't know, I have never experienced that, but I was kind of thinking that.
I would say now what you experience through jhana, if you experience in past lives, it's a self-exploration and it's controlled within your mind. Past life regression is now done through an expert who knows how to take somebody back from there to here. It's more in the not deeper jhana, deeper meditation levels, but it puts you into a jhana. It puts you into a certain tranquilized level.
Like a hypnosis.
It is like a hypnosis-like thing. It depends on the individual, and if they have experienced jhanas, there is a high chance that they are responding uh, close to in a close state from a jhana. But if they do fall into the jhana, they'll have to wait until that person emerge from it to get answers. But I don't think they will explore the past lives within that jhana, because the jhana's nature affects them. Because of the jhana, they cannot go into past life details. They need to emerge from it, and then perhaps that tranquility will help them to tap into certain past lives. You can direct your mind. Usually in the sutras, I see after the fourth jhana, after you have experienced that, you emerge from it, and then your mind is what they call in a state called malleable. You can make it's not rigid like this. It can take any shape, like water. You pour water, water takes the shape of this. So your mind is like that. And you can tell that kind of a mind, you can direct it to seeing past lives. One life, see the details. It's like going from one room to another. I'm telling from the sutras, not from the experience. And then you were this way, you were that way, and then you go to the next, you go to the next. To 1,000 or to 3,000 lives. Interesting, you are seeing so much there, like you don't need television anymore, you have enough to see. And people say they can do that, but very rare. It's very rare to find that kind of a person.
I think Edgar Casey was one of them.
Edgar Casey, some Sri Lankans, some Thai, some nuns, some monks. Those who have those abilities, they don't disclose them to others, because it gives them popularity and trouble. Everybody wants to know what their past life was.
Edgar Casey treated a lot of patients who had
Karmic problems.
Incurable diseases. Like he went to their past lives and treated
Yeah.
them.
There is a Sri Lankan who does that. I cannot disclose you the details because I have gotten into trouble by trying to disclose. Because I know him through another friend, and they tell me what happens, and I go see them also. But what he does is he goes to 800 years back and then find this person's something that they did, and then tap into that and say, you do this, but you have to give up something. You have to be on 5 precepts, give up meat, and there is a course of things they have to do, which is good. And that helps them to overcome their problem. That medicine, that's why some technology giants, whom I am fortunate to be friends with, say no technology has ever impressed them than what people do with the mind. So that I believe, because mind's power. Somebody has unlocked this car without having keys, using his mind. So the key was just far away from the car, but he unlocked the car using the mind. And then he was right there, like, what's the use of developing technology when you can do so much with the mind's power? Asking you.
I was not sure whether that person was in Detroit.
To hire him? Unfortunately, no. They are not interested in traveling. Anyway, let's conclude here. It was a nice retreat. Thank you for the time. Thank you for practicing together. I enjoyed it, and we had a good time. Happy retreat at home and continue your practice. Never fall back. Keep going. Use your time. Be a good Kalyana Mitra. So let's transfer merits. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.